now make their push toward Baghdad, or that's what they say they're doing. And Kurdish soldiers to the north stand ready to protect their oil-rich territory from falling into the hands of the terrorists. Reporters on the ground say Kurdistan's forces are the only ones who have put up much of a fight against ISIS and its followers. Let's take a look at the regions involved over here in the crisis. We've been reporting ISIS fighters and those who have joined them have already captured the areas of Iraq that are shaded here in red. And remember, they started up in Syria. This group has worked across ethnic lines, across boundaries that were drawn by somebody else. These boundaries mean a lot to those Europeans and British who put these lines in place, but they don't mean all that much to those peoples in the north. These up here are Kurds, you know. That's what they are. The green shaded portions of the map show the autonomous Kurdish region, and it goes all up into there. See, that's Turkey up there, and this is Kirkuk and Mosul down here, right on the borders of it. Their troops, they call them the Peshmerga, have been very effective. Thousands of soldiers and refugees are reportedly heading to that green area up there to escape all the problems that are happening down here. Now, keep in mind, the Kurds are a much freer people compared to the Sunnis in Iraq. For example, women can serve in the Kurdish military. Tensions between Iraqi Kurds and the central government down in Baghdad, that tension stretches back for decades. It's longer than anybody watching this program now has been alive. In 1988, Saddam Hussein unleashed chemical weapons on the Kurds, remember? Yesterday, Kurdish fighters battled ISIS along the city of Kirkuk. The Kurds had just moved closer to the city after Iraqi soldiers left there. And now, Kurdish forces say they're prepared for another potential showdown with these ISIS militants and all who fight along with them over Kirkuk and its vast oil reserves. That is a huge prize for whoever can take it. But the Kurds say their weapons are outdated. The Kurds say their weapons are hardly working compared to the well-equipped ISIS forces sweeping through and across Iraq, because what they did was the Iraqi military folded and gave them the weapons that we gave the Iraqis. So they're fighting with our weapons. Benjamin Hall is a journalist embedded with the Kurdish fighters, the Peshmerga, in the northern portion of Iraq, and he joins us live there. I wonder what you can tell us about what you're seeing on the ground and what the status of things is today there.
Well, as you said, Shepard, I've been embedded with the Peshmerga forces for 5 or 6 days now, and they are indeed a very efficient and effective fighting force. The thing is, though, the areas that they have taken so far, as you mentioned, Kirkuk and the oil-rich regions, were easy to take because the Iraqis had simply disappeared. And as far as that happened, they could push through south. They have now hit real forces of ISIS, and they are in heavy fighting around a city called Jalala, which is where I'm currently embedded.
And what happened then? Is that clash still ongoing? And what's the status of this refinery?
Well, the refinery is further to the west of where I am, but Jalala is a very significant city because it's on the main route from Mosul to Baghdad. And that is the ultimate aim of these ISIS troops. They want the prize of Baghdad. So they're securing the city of Jalala. Now, the last few days there have been heavy fighting and shelling. We were in there a couple of days ago, and it was street to street. But we were pulled back yesterday so that they could clear it. There are 20,000 civilians who were in there, and they've all been removed from the city, and the Kurds have said, we are going to shell it. We don't want to risk street-to-street fighting and sniper teams and IEDs, so we are shelling the city. It's the only way we can defeat them in that town.
Based on your reporting there, when the Kurds say our weapons are outdated and these other forces have what's left over from American weapons, are they on point? And if so, what do the Kurds insist they need?
Well, they are, and they are asking for air support. Now, they asked for Iraqi air support a few days ago, and when Iraqi helicopters arrived, they fired on our very emplacement, and we were all in a ditch, hunkered down. 6 people died from that friendly fire incident. They don't trust the Iraqi Air Force anymore, and they're desperately asking for American Air Force support. However, in terms of other weaponry that they have some artillery, some mortars, but it's just not enough, as you said, to counter the weapons that ISIS have taken from America and is now using against them.
Wow. Benjamin Hall with a first-hand account from the Kurdish region outside Jalala in Iraq on the phone with us. Benjamin, thanks very much. It is interesting to hear from these Kurdish fighters, these Peshmerga, who are as tough as they come in all the business over there, who are saying we could do fine, except these terrorists whom we're fighting, they have America's weapons. The weapons and training that America gave to the Iraqi forces, the Iraqis melted away, left the weapons behind. The terrorists came in and got the weapons and are now fighting with the American weapons against the Kurdish forces in the north. who need our help, but we can't take sides.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon traveled to the Golan Heights on Wednesday. The two went up north to view the IDF preparations against new terror threats in northern Israel, where Netanyahu says Iran is seeking to establish a new front. He also drew parallels between the Islamic State and Iran.
Today with our defense minister to view the IDF preparations against the new front, terror front, that Iran is seeking to establish here in the Golan Heights. This is in addition to the terror fronts they've already established in South Lebanon and in Gaza. It's curious to me that in the face of this terror activity of Iran, both here in the region and throughout the world, leading countries in the world are not demanding that Iran cease this activity, but are racing to forge a deal that would enable Iran to have nuclear weapons. And that is the greatest danger of all. Israel will oppose this deal, which is dangerous to us, dangerous to the region, dangerous to the world.
Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas on Wednesday condemned the killing of a Jordanian pilot by ISIS and said that the PA stands by the fight against ISIS.
ونبعث لأخينا صاحب الجلالة الملك عبد الله الثاني ملك المملكة الأردنية الهاشمية ولحكومة الأردن ولشعب الأردن ولأهل الشهيد البطل ولنا نحن الفلسطينيين لأننا نحن جزء لا يتجزأ التعازي الحارة ونقول لهؤلاء المجرمين القتلة السفاحين إن هذا لن يدوم.
Britain saw a record number of anti-Semitic attacks in 2014. A total of 1,168 incidents were recorded during the year, according to the Community Security Trust's annual report issued for publication on Thursday. That was more than double the number for 2013 and the highest seen since the organization, which monitors anti-Semitism and provides security for the Jewish community, started keeping statistics in 1984. Describing the Gaza war as the single biggest factor in the statistics, of the 542 attacks recorded in July and August alone, 48% made specific references to the events in Israel and the Gaza Strip. The United Nations Security Council condemned the killing of a Spanish UN peacekeeper who was killed last week on the border between Israel and Lebanon. Corporal Francisco Javier Soria Toledo was killed when Israel responded to the killing of two IDF officers by a Hezbollah anti-tank missile by shelling into Lebanon. In a written statement, the Security Council expressed its deepest sympathy to the family of the fallen peacekeeper and to the government of Spain. The Security Council offered no condemnation of the Hezbollah attack. Distinguished British Holocaust historian Sir Martin Gilbert passed away on Tuesday at the age of 78 after a long battle with cancer. Gilbert was a prolific writer who authored more than 80 history books and atlases, many of which covered Jewish history and the formation of the State of Israel. And that's all for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more headlines. For now, shalom from the Jerusalem Post studios.